All right, so you sent me this little snippet about the Canary Islands, and it sounds pretty cool.
It does.
More than just a beach vacation, huh?
Yeah, I think they're promising an adventure, like you said.
Yeah.
More than just sitting on a beach somewhere.
Yeah.
It sounds like...
Hey, everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we are transporting ourselves to the Canary Islands.
Oh, nice.
To a city that just seems to shimmer in the sunshine.
It does.
Santa Cruz de Tenerife.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to dig into this one.
Me too.
Because when I think of the Canary Islands, I think of beaches.
Right.
You know, just that classic island vacation.
Yeah.
But looking through the stuff that you said over, it seems like Santa Cruz is so much more.
It really is so much more than just a beach town.
Yeah. So how would you describe it? Like, what's the vibe?
Well, you know, it's this really cool blend of like island life meets like bustling cosmopolitan city.
Huh.
You know, you've got the port that connects Europe and Africa and the Americas.
Bro.
And then on top of that, it's the capital of Tenerife.
Right.
It's the seat of the parliament of the Canary Islands.
Oh, wow.
So you've got this constant flow of people and cultures and this political energy.
So it's got layers.
It's got layers.
It's got history.
It does.
Yeah,
A lot of history.
I love that. So let's talk about that history then.
Okay.
Let's go way back
Okay.
to like the heart of Santa Cruz.
All right. So I think a great place to start would be the Iglesia de la Concepción.
Okay.
Built in 1500.
Wow.
Right at the very beginning.
So we're talking old city.
Yeah. Very old city.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got 1500 in my notes as like something to ask you about. So that's great.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Okay. Let's fast forward a few centuries
Okay.
to today. And I read that Calle de la Noria is the spot for nightlife.
It is.
What's it like there?
It's got that old world charm, but it's very lively.
Huh.
You know, cobblestone streets, festive atmosphere, lots of traditional bars that spill out into the sidewalks.
Okay.
You can find anything from like a quiet taverna to like a rowdy music venue.
So it's got a little something for everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that sounds fun. All right, let's stick with the historical stuff for a minute.
All right.
What about the Iglesia de San Francisco and the Plaza del Príncipe de Asturias?
Oh, yeah, those are beautiful.
What stands out about them?
Well, the Iglesia de San Francisco is a gorgeous example of Baroque architecture.
Okay.
And the Plaza del Príncipe de Asturias, it's one of those squares where you can just feel the city. Like, picture yourself just sitting at a cafe, sipping a coffee, just watching the locals go about their day.
I like it. Okay, well, all this talk of history is making me hungry.
Me too.
And you mentioned that Santa Cruz is a foodie paradise.
Oh, yeah.
So tell me about the Mercado Municipal de Nuestra Señora de Africa.
Oh, it's incredible.
What can people expect if they go there?
It's just this symphony of colors and aromas and sounds, like a true feast for the senses.
Oh.
You'll find stalls piled high with fresh produce.
Okay.
You know, exotic fruits, locally caught fish.
Oh, yeah.
You can sample Canarian cheeses and breads. Ooh. And, of course, the famous papas arrogadas.
Yes, the wrinkly potato.
Wrinkly potatoes.
Amazing. Okay. I love it. You know, it's so interesting to me that a city can be so busy and bustling, but also have these pockets of tranquility.
Right.
We were talking about how many green spaces Santa Cruz has.
Yeah, and that's not something you always find in a city, you know? You can be right in the heart of downtown, surrounded by shops and restaurants, and then just steps away, you find yourself in a peaceful park, shaded by palm trees and dragon trees.
So it's like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, literally.
I love, okay, so we've got history, we've got food, we've got nature. What other surprises does Santa Cruz have in store for us?
Plenty more. Well, for one, you know, Santa Cruz is home to the Orquesta Sinfónica de Tenerife.
Oh, yeah.
And they're actually pretty well known in Europe in the classical music scene.
I was really surprised to see that in my research.
Really?
I don't know why I didn't put those two things together in my head.
Right.
Like Sunny Island and prestigious orchestra.
Yeah.
What's the experience like if someone were to go to one of their concerts?
Oh, it's incredible. They perform at the Auditorio de Tenerife, which is this architectural masterpiece designed by Santiago Calatrava.
Wow.
The acoustics are phenomenal, and their repertoire is really diverse.
Okay.
You know, you'll hear classical masterpieces and then more contemporary stuff.
So it's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
I'm really starting to see what you mean about Santa Cruz being the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Like, you've got this amazing culture, a rich history, the natural beauty of the Canary Islands all in one place.
It's true. And speaking of culture, Have we talked about the Guanche people yet?
Oh, no, we haven't. Fill me in. Who were they?
Okay, so the Guanches were the indigenous people of the Canary Islands before the Spanish conquest back in the 15th century. Oh. And Santa Cruz has actually done a really good job of preserving their legacy.
Oh, that's cool.
If you're interested in learning more about them, I'd recommend checking out the Museo de la Naturaleza y el Hombre.
Okay, so on the list it goes, you know what? I think this deep dive is giving me a serious case of wanderlust.
Yeah.
All this talk about history and culture and gardens. I can practically feel the sunshine on my face.
And we haven't even talked about the food yet.
Okay, well, let's talk about the food.
All right, remember those papas arrogados we talked about earlier?
The wrinkly potatoes?
Yes, the wrinkly potatoes. Well, those are just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Canarian food.
All right, so what makes Canarian food so special?
It's this really interesting mix of Spanish, African, and Latin American influences, all using fresh, locally sourced ingredients, delicious seafood, flavorful meats, and then all these unique sauces and spices that add a real depth of flavor.
Okay, so if our listener wants to try those authentic flavors of Santa Cruz, where should they go?
Oh, there are so many good spots.
Yeah.
But I think for a truly authentic experience, you need to get out of those main tourist areas and explore the side streets.
Okay.
And look for these family-run restaurants that are called guachinches.
Guachinches?
Yeah, they serve these traditional Canarian dishes using recipes that have been passed down through generations.
Wow, I love that. Okay, so culinary adventure, it is... I have to admit, I am picturing myself enjoying all this delicious food while sitting on one of those lively terraces you mentioned.
Oh, yeah.
What's the vibe like there in the evenings?
It's magical, honestly. Okay. Picture like a warm summer evening.
Okay.
The air is filled with the scent of flowers and the sound of laughter.
I love it.
You know, people are out enjoying tapas, sharing stories, just soaking up the atmosphere.
Okay.
It's a great place to people watch.
Yeah.
And get a feel for the local culture.
Okay, so you've sold me, as we're talking, I'm realizing there's so much more to Santa Cruz than meets the eye.
Right.
It's like this hidden gem.
It really is.
Just waiting to be discovered.
And you know what else is great about it?
What's that?
It's the perfect jumping off point for the rest of Tenerife.
Okay, tell me more.
Well, you have easy access to the Inaga Rural Park.
Oh, I saw that.
Which is a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve.
Oh, wow.
And of course, all those stunning beaches we were talking about earlier.
Wait, what's so special about the Inaga Rural Park?
Oh, it's amazing. Imagine like lush laurel forests and dramatic cliffs.
Okay.
And these hidden villages nestled in the mountains.
Wow.
It's a hiker's paradise.
Oh my gosh.
There are trails for all levels of experience.
Okay.
From, leisurely walks to more challenging hikes.
Okay, so we've got history, we've got culture, delicious food, vibrant nightlife, and breathtaking natural landscapes.
Yeah.
I mean, Santa Cruz really does have it all.
It's a unique combination of urban excitement and natural beauty.
Yeah.
Oh, and don't forget about those beaches.
Right.
We've got golden sand, volcanic black sand. The water's crystal clear.
Perfect.
It doesn't matter if you're looking for adventure or relaxation. Santa Cruz has something for everyone.
This has been a real eye-opener for me, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Santa Cruz has gone from a place that I knew very little about to a place that's now at the top of my travel bucket list.
I'm not surprised.
Before we move on to our final thoughts, what is one thing that really stands out to you about Santa Cruz?
Ooh, that's tough.
Like, what would you say is the absolute must-do experience for our listeners?
Okay, if I had to pick just one,
Yeah.
I would say take a walk along the Rambla de Santa Cruz.
Okay.
It's this beautiful promenade that runs through the heart of the city.
Okay.
You'll pass by lush gardens, charming cafes, beautiful architecture.
Okay.
It's just a great way to feel the city's energy and really soak up the atmosphere.
I love that it sounds like the perfect way to experience the heart and soul of Santa Cruz. Okay, folks, that wraps up part 2 of our deep dive into this incredible city. But we're not done yet. In part 3, we'll be sharing our final thoughts and leaving you with some inspiration to plan your own journey to Santa Cruz. So stay tuned. All right, we are back for our final thoughts on Santa Cruz.
I'm ready.
As we've been talking, I keep coming back to the idea that Santa Cruz is this perfect blend of traditional and modern.
I agree.
We've touched on everything from those centuries-old churches to that cutting-edge concert hall.
Yeah, it's a city that's constantly evolving, but it's still honoring its roots. And you see that everywhere in the architecture, the food, even in the way that people interact with each other.
Yeah, it's really cool. So if someone's listening and they're thinking, okay, I need to experience this for myself, what advice would you give them?
That's a good question.
As they start planning their trip?
I'd say just embrace the unexpected.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to wander off the beaten path. Explore those little hidden alleyways and just chat with the locals.
Yeah.
Honestly, some of my most memorable travel moments have come from those unplanned discoveries.
That's so true.
Yeah.
So do you have any insights from locals that our listeners might find helpful?
Let me think. I've heard that one of the best ways to experience Santa Cruz, like a local, is to start your day at one of those traditional cafes.
Okay.
Grab a barraquito.
A barraquito?
Yeah, it's like this layered coffee drink.
Okay.
That's unique to the Canary Islands, and just sit and watch the city wake up.
I love that. I'm thinking back to what we were talking about with the port and all the cruise ships that come and go. Yeah. Does that influx of tourists ever impact the authenticity of the city?
That's an interesting question, because even though the port brings in tons of visitors, Santa Cruz has really held on to its own unique character. That local culture is strong and you don't feel overwhelmed by tourism.
Okay.
You can still find those little hidden gems.
Yeah.
Those authentic experiences that really capture what the city is all about.
I think that's a really good point.
Yeah.
It sounds like Santa Cruz is a city that truly rewards exploration.
It does.
And maybe that's the key takeaway for our listener.
Yeah.
Don't just stick to the main tourist attractions. Get out there.
Explore.
Yeah, explore. Get a little lost.
Yeah, and let the city surprise you.
Exactly. Be open to new experiences. Try that local cuisine. Strike up conversations with the people you meet. You'll find that Santa Cruz has this warm, welcoming energy that is seriously contagious.
I agree, 100%.
Well, I think it's safe to say that we've both fallen a little bit in love with Santa Cruz during this deep dive.
Yeah, me too. It's such a special place.
And hopefully we've inspired our listeners to add it to their travel list.
Fingers crossed.
If you've ever been to Santa Cruz, or if you have any questions about it, we'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.